In the frozen heart of Alberta's oil patch, where the wind howls like a betrayed lover across endless fields of black gold, Sarah Mackenzie stood at the edge of a drilling rig that had gone silent. It was January 15, 2026, and the world she knew was crumbling. Her hands, calloused from years of wrenching pipes and welding seams, trembled as she clutched the faded photo of her late husband, Tom, smiling in his hard hat, mud-splattered and unbreakable. "We built this," she whispered to the ghost of him, her voice cracking against the bite of the -30°C air. But the rigs were idle, the workers scattered like leaves in a storm, and across the border, whispers of a deal that could save them all, or doom Canada to fracture forever. Little did Sarah know, this chaos wasn't just headlines, it was the spark that would ignite her soul, drag her family through hell, and forge a legacy of grit that no pipeline could contain. Buckle up, friends, this isn't just a story, it's the raw pulse of a nation's breaking point. And if you're feeling that fire already, hit that like button now and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of real stories that hit home. Let's dive in. Sarah had come to Fort McMurray 20 years ago, a wide-eyed welder from a sleepy Nova Scotia fishing town, chasing dreams bigger than the Atlantic swells. Tom was her anchor then, a rough-around-the-edges roughneck with eyes like the northern lights and a laugh that could thaw permafrost. They met on a site tour, her toolkit clanging against his, sparks flying not just from the arc welder but from something deeper. "Your trouble," he'd grinned, wiping grease from his brow. "The best kind," she'd shot back. By summer's end, they were married in a shotgun courthouse ceremony, rings bought from a gas station vending machine. Their daughter, Lily, arrived 2 years later, a bundle of curls and curiosity, born in the shadow of the Athabasca tar sands. Life was a rhythm of booms and busts. Flush with overtime pay during the oil rushes, scraping by on EI when prices tanked. But they made it work. Tom taught Lily to fish in the summer thaw, Sarah showed her how to solder dreams into steel. "We're the backbone," Tom would say, pounding his chest. "Without us, the lights go out from Vancouver to Halifax." But the backbone was bending now, cracking under the weight of a federal government in Ottawa that saw Alberta's black gold as a curse, not a crown. Prime Minister Elena Vasquez, elected on a wave of green promises and coastal cheers, had choked the pipelines with red tape thicker than pipeline itself. Keystone XL was dead, buried by American politics and Canadian envy. Trans Mountain. A bloated corpse of delays and billions flushed into activist lawsuits. And now, with global energy prices spiking from wars in Europe and drought strangling hydro dams, Alberta was gasping. Unemployment hit 25% in the oil sands towns, families fled south like refugees from a sinking ship. Sarah's crew was down to a skeleton shift, and Tom's old spot on the rig? Vacant since his heart gave out last spring, felled by the stress of endless layoffs. "Fight it," he'd rasped on his hospital bed, gripping her hand. "For Lily. For us." She had nodded, tears salting her resolve, but how? Petitions? Protests? The feds laughed them off as flyover folk whining. Chaos erupted on that January morning when Premier Danielle Leclerc, Alberta's firebrand leader, with her silver-streaked bob and voice like gravel under tires, called an emergency presser in Calgary. Sarah watched it unfold on her truck's cracked dashboard screen, idling outside the shuttered Syncrude site. "Enough!" Leclerc thundered, her fist slamming the podium. "Ottawa's strangling us while the world begs for our energy. Today, Alberta confirms a bilateral deal with the United States, the Freedom Flow Pipeline. Direct from Fort Mac to Montana refineries, bypassing Quebec's blockades and BC's NIMBY tiers. No more federal vetoes. This is sovereignty, folks, Alberta first." The room exploded. Reporters shouted questions, screens across Canada flickered with outrage. In Toronto boardrooms, executives choked on their lattes. In Vancouver cafes, baristas rallied with signs screaming, "Fossil fuel felony." And in Ottawa, Vasquez's office issued a frosty rebuke, "This unilateral action threatens national unity. Legal challenges incoming." Sarah's phone buzzed like a hornet's nest. Texts from old crewmates, "Holy shit, Sarah, jobs. Tell me it's real." Then Lily's, "Mom. Schools canceling buses, parents freaking out. What's happening?" Sarah's heart clenched. Lily was 16 now, all legs and dreams, top of her class in environmental science, ironically. She loved the woods more than the rigs, sketching endangered caribou in her notebooks while debating carbon taxes at the dinner table. "Dad would be proud," Sarah typed back, but her thumbs shook. Proud? Or heartbroken? The deal meant resurrection for thousands, rigs humming, paychecks flowing, but at what cost? Protests were already swelling in Edmonton, unions splintering, families divided like fault lines in shale. Sarah gunned the engine, heading home through snow-slicked roads, the radio blaring pundits, civil war in the prairies. Economic secession. Chaos, indeed. By evening, Fort McMurray felt like a powder keg. Bar fights spilled into streets lined with pickup trucks flying Alberta flags, blue skies over white peaks, now stained with oil-slicked defiance. Sarah pulled into her driveway, a modest bungalow with Tom's old welder's shed out back, its door ajar like an unhealed wound. Lily was on the porch, bundled in a parka, FaceTiming her best friend Mia from Calgary. "It's gonna be okay," Lily was saying, but her voice wavered. Mia's family ran a solar startup, her dad called oil dinosaur juice. The generational chasm yawned wide. Sarah killed the engine and joined her, the cold nipping at their cheeks. "Mom," Lily said, ending the call, "is this the end? Like, of Canada?" Sarah pulled her close, inhaling the scent of teenage shampoo and uncertainty. "Nah, kiddo. It's a rebirth. Messy, yeah, but necessary." Inside, over-canned chili heated on the propane stove, power flickered with grid strains, they talked. Really talked, for the first time since Tom's funeral. Lily confessed her fears, applying to UBC, but now wondering if borders would even matter. Sarah shared hers, the stack of medical bills from Tom's last days, the foreclosure notice peeking from the mailbox. This deal, it could pay them off. Get you that scholarship fund. Lily's eyes, Tom's eyes, softened. "But what about the planet, Mom? Dad always said balance." That night, sleep evaded Sarah like oil from sand. She paced the kitchen, Tom's photo on the fridge mocking her with his easy grin. Balance. He'd believed in it, cleaner tech on rigs, carbon capture pilots he'd championed before the bust. But Ottawa's bans killed those innovations too, lumping all oil as evil. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving, bringing the first wave of chaos to their door. A convoy of federal inspectors rolled in, badges gleaming under sodium lights, demanding site audits on environmental compliance. Sarah's foreman, grizzled Hank Bear Kowalski, 62, with a paunch from too many post-shift beers and a limp from a '98 blowout, met them at the gate. "Piss off," Bear growled. "We're shuttered by your rules already." Fists clenched, a shove, sirens wailed. By noon, news choppers buzzed overhead, capturing the standoff, roughnecks in Carhartts versus suits in Subarus. Sarah watched from her truck, Lily beside her, whispering, "This is insane." It was. And it was just the overture. Word spread like wildfire through the Bush Telegraph. Neighbors gathered at the Legion Hall, oil widows like Sarah, young roughnecks with pregnant wives, indigenous elders from the Mikisew Cree whose treaties promised prosperity from the sands. Elder Tommy Cardinal, Tom's old hunting buddy, spoke first, his voice a rumble of river stones. "My grandfather signed for shares in this Black River. Now Ottawa steals it, and the feds play divide and conquer with our young." Nods rippled, tears fell. Sarah stood, her welder's hands flexing. Tom died fighting for fair shakes. This deal? It's our shake. But we gotta hold together. Cheers erupted, but cracks showed. Lily's friend Mia's dad, visiting from the city, sneered from the back, "You're selling out the future for truck payments." A near brawl, Sarah stepped in, her voice steel. "We've bled for this country. Try living it before judging." He slunk out, but the seed of division took root. Weeks blurred into a frenzy. The Freedom Flow deal hit warp speed. U.S. President Harlan Reyes, a Texas oil baron turned Oval Office cowboy, fast-tracked permits with a tweetstorm, Canada's gift to freedom, energy independence for all. Alberta crews mobilized, leasing Montana land, surveying routes through the Rockies. But Ottawa countered with injunctions, RCMP roadblocks, even whispers of invoking the Emergencies Act. Protests swelled. In Quebec, blockaders chained to hypothetical valves. In BC, celebrities flew in on private jets to decry ecocide. Media feasted. CNN called it Canada's Brexit. CBC framed Alberta as rogue province. Sarah's face ended up on a viral clip, defending Bear after his arrest. "We're not rebels. We're survivors." Likes poured in, millions, from Texas truckers to Aussie miners, but so did hate, planet killer, greedy hick. For Sarah, the real battle was homefront. Lily's school shut down amid unity rallies that turned ugly, kids chanting "Drill baby drill" versus "Save the Earth." Her grades slipped, nightmares woke her screaming about drowning in oil. Sarah worked double shifts on prep crews, welding mock-ups in sub-zero tents, her body a map of aches. One blizzard night, en route home, her truck skidded into a ditch. Black ice, or sabotage. Rescued by a passerby, a young engineer named Javier Ruiz from the U.S. team, she laughed through chattering teeth as he towed her out. "Crazy up here," he said, his accent warm like Tex-Mex sun. "Beautiful, too." Over coffee at a Tim Hortons lit like a war zone, they talked. Javier, son of migrant workers, had lost his dad to a rig collapse in '05. "Pipelines connect us," he said. "Not just pipes, people." Sarah felt a spark, not romantic, but kindred. Hope, flickering. Spring thawed the ground but not the tensions. By April, the first spade hit dirt near Grande Prairie, ceremonial, with Leclerc and Reyes breaking ground under a sky of hopeful blue. Crowds cheered, confetti mixed with construction dust. But chaos peaked, a federal raid on Alberta's treasury, freezing assets in a national security ploy. Banks panicked, ATMs ran dry. Sarah's paycheck bounced, she pawned Tom's watch to buy groceries. Lily, radicalized by online forums, confronted her, "This deal's fracturing us, Mom. Friends hate me now." Heartbroken, Sarah drove her to Edmonton for a youth dialogue, a forced summit of oil kids and green activists. There, amid shouting matches, Lily met Aisha Patel, a hijab-wearing climatologist from Toronto, whose family had lost everything in the '08 crash. "I get it," Aisha said over falafel wraps. "My parents were steelworkers, jobs matter. But so does air we breathe." Lily's walls cracked, she sketched a hybrid rig in her notebook, solar-powered pumps on oil pads. Sarah's challenge deepened when Bear suffered a stroke, rage-fueled from jail stress. At the hospital, monitors beeping like accusatory fingers, he gripped her arm. "Don't let them win, girl. Tom's watching." She nodded, but doubt gnawed. Was this worth the blood? That night, alone in the waiting room, she called Javier. "I need to see the other side," she admitted. He arranged a flyover, U.S. crews building clean-tech segments, methane flares captured, wildlife corridors woven in. From 10,000 feet, Alberta looked whole again, rivers snaking silver, forests a green quilt. "It's possible," Javier radioed. "Balance." Landing, Sarah resolved, fight smarter, not harder. Summer scorched the prairies, turning chaos to crucible. Sabotage struck, explosives at a survey camp, blamed on eco-extremists. RCMP swarmed, fingers pointed at indigenous holdouts fearing water poisoning. Elder Tommy mediated a tense parley in a sweat lodge, smudge smoke curling like prayers. "We Cree have always been stewards," he said. "Partner with us, or pipelines run red." Sarah, invited as Tom's widow, spoke, "Honor the treaties. Shares in the flow, jobs, tech, protection." Reluctant nods, a pact formed. Meanwhile, Lily's hybrid design went viral on TikTok, kids remixing it with AR filters. Universities scouted her. Aisha co-authored a pitch to feds. See. Unity in Innovation. Ottawa blinked first in August, Vasquez's poll numbers tanking amid blackouts from hydro fails. A backroom deal, federal blessing for freedom flow, in exchange for national carbon funds funneled to green retrofits. Cheers echoed from Whitehorse to Windsor. But for Sarah, resolution was personal. Bear recovered, walking with a cane at the ribbon cutting in September, pipes snaking south like veins pumping life. Lily got her UBC nod, majoring in sustainable energy. Javier stayed on as project lead, their friendship a bridge across borders. And Sarah? She founded the Mackenzie Welders Collective, training women in clean rigs, honoring Tom. As the first oil flowed on October 10, 2026, exactly a year from the deal's birth, Sarah stood at the pump station, Lily beside her, the hum of progress vibrating the ground. "We did it," Lily whispered. Sarah smiled, Tom's photo tucked in her pocket. "No, kiddo. We survived it. And that's the real flow, resilient, unbreakable." Chaos had forged them, not fractured. Friends, if Sarah's fire lit something in you, the fight for fair shakes, the power of family over headlines. Smash that like button, drop a comment on what balance means to you, and subscribe for more stories that cut through the noise. Turn on notifications, the world's chaotic enough without missing the hope. What's next? You tell me. Until then, keep welding your dreams. Fade to black.